Hey guys, what's going on? Back again with another Vanguard Zombies video. As you guys know, a couple days ago, Treyarch Call of Duty Sledgehammer released Shinonuma, a survival round-based map in Vanguard. Pretty much the full size of the original Shinonuma with a couple new locations. And in one of those radios, which I talked about, made a video about it a couple days ago. There's some ties to the Chaos Theory story from Black Ops 4, sorry. And it ties together Black Ops 4 and it ties together Vanguard. And in the radio, it has Gabriel Kraft talking about how he admired the works of Alexandria Rhodes. Alexandria Rhodes is Scarlett's father. So there's some other radios on the map showing or telling us that we're going to go to Egypt as the next map. So I'm trying to connect the two because a lot of people I've seen are making some chaos story. So I'm trying to connect the two a little bit, seeing if it's going to tie together what Egypt is going to be all about. So I've seen a couple videos, like I said, some people might have missed it because a lot of the stuff that people are just solving now, I'm not going to name names because it's going to sound like I'm throwing shade. But like I mentioned before, in the past, I was the one that pretty much solved everything and passed the answers on to the bigger channels or other YouTubers. Now I just upload it for the zombies community, and whoever wants to watch it can watch it. Whoever believes it or whatever, they can watch it on their own. I felt like I was force feeding too many answers to the other channels and stuff like that. Then you're gonna deal with your subscribers, trying to hate on you and stuff like that. So I just put it up now on YouTube. Again, whoever wants to watch it can watch it. If I end up being right, that's pretty cool because a lot of times when I talk about stuff, it's stuff that I want. I try not to clickbait people like the other channels do, or pretty much every other channel does. That way they can get the most subs and views and stuff like that. I'm just putting up stuff that I would want in the future games and maps from Treyarch and stuff like that. So with all that being said, the next map's going to be in Egypt. Hopefully it's going to tie into the Chaos story. So my idea, which I would love to see, is and a lot of people are kind of skipping over it, is I'm going to get back to that, but if the Library of Alexandria, people are forgetting, is in Egypt. I watched a couple channels, the usual suspects, so to speak. Some of it being toxic zombie YouTubers that just hated on everything in Black Ops 4 and Vanguard, um, and even hated on stuff in Cold War. But a lot of them, like I said, throw videos together. It's nothing new. I've been saying this probably since 2016. And of course, not that much have changed. I'm not saying this is a solve, but it would be really, really nice. If we kind of go now to the Library of Alexandria, I don't know what Treyarch has planned. Sometimes I say to myself, I wish I worked for Treyarch, because I don't want them to blow an opportunity that would be like a really great idea or probably really good for the fans. But what if we have, I don't know too much stuff from multiplayer or even campaign what would fit as the Library of Alexandria in Egypt, but where we left off in the Chaos story in Black Ops 4 is Medusa wanted to go to the Library of Alexandria to find a book. And I've told people even back then, like I said, I see a lot of people just figuring stuff out now in Vanguard. People were never even figured it out back then in Black Ops 4. But the Chaos and the Ether story, I even saw some people just starting to see the connections of the Ether story and the Dark Ether. But it pretty much was the exact same story, where we had Maxis trying to reunite with Dr. Maxis. We had Scarlett trying to reunite with Alexandria Rhodes. We had a book like the Chronorium, and Medusa was going to do the same thing, go look for a book, an all-powerful book, I believe, in the Library of Alexandria. Same exact thing with the Chronorium, where Richtofen wanted the book, the Apothecans and the bad guys wanted the book also. Eventually, they may or may not have destroyed the Chronorium. Who knows? And I always said that to the Chronorium. more than the summoning key is way more important. The summoning key, I think, is just the summoning key, but I think the Chronorium is pretty much everything that the story is based on, and it even has some other lores and stuff like that built into it, which I'm not going to get into, and I don't want to sidetrack too much. What I'm getting at is the stories are pretty much always been the same story. I think people are just starting to see that, figure that out now. I'm not going to go into too much detail because I don't want to tell you what video I watched. It's going to sound like I'm throwing shade. It's going to sound like I'm trying to steal subscribers away from the other channels and stuff like that. I guess at this point I'm just happy that the Chaos story may or may not get a second life. No pun intended, or maybe like an afterlife. But again, some of this we already know. Medusa was going to the Library of Alexandria to get the book. I've said it before in the last video that everyone, I'm going to just say everyone, is just now figuring out, because, you know, most of them are toxic. They don't play the game. They play it once. Pretty much the casuals, they play the game once, the map once, and that's it. But it was always hinted in Vanguard that the Chaos story was going to be tied in with the Greek gods and the Greek mythology and stuff like that. This isn't anything new. Shinonuma is nothing new. It's just another Easter egg, and that's what I titled the last video. It's just another Easter egg. But with that being said, Egypt is where the Library of Alexandria was located, and it burnt down in BC. Maybe in this story it's still going to exist, or maybe they're going to go to the old ruins of the library, because somewhere it did burn down, or sometime it did burn down, or it burnt down. Sorry, I have really bad English. So the Library of Alexandria is in Egypt. I found this website from mcgill.ca, where it showed or talked about Egypt being the center of alchemy, and it also tied together the Library of Alexandria. Egyptian alchemy was from 5000 BC to 400 BC. Alexandria has the world's largest library. And Greek alchemy, Arabian alchemy, European alchemy, chemistry and stuff like that. Alchemy in history, alchemy in ancient Egypt. The origin of Western alchemy may generally be traced to Egypt, with metals, mysticism, and stuff like that. So this is just a small piece of the puzzle. Like I said, there was a lot of stuff that I looked into back then, and solved back then, and kind of forgot about it. But hopefully, like I said, they're going to Egypt. I'm hoping they're just not, Treyarch or Call of Duty isn't like just kind of you know, pulling a fast one on us, because they introduced, or not introduced, but they gave another Easter egg for the Chaos story. So maybe they're gonna, I don't see them having a big letdown and not going to Alexandria. Last thing, and like I said, I just do this so people, it's a raw video, so people just can look at stuff. Now, the last thing I want to talk about really quickly is Scarlett Rhodes should be, Cutthroat Scarlett Rhodes would be really nice to add to Vanguard. Sorry, I have the windows open because it's a really nice cool day, so you're going to hear a lot of craziness outside. But in Tokyo Escape Season 3 of COD Mobile, probably last year or 2020, they introduced the Scarlett Rhodes Cutthroat, which is an Asian version of Scarlett Rhodes. She actually has a different name, I forget. But it would have been really cool, or it'd be really cool if they do add her in just as an operator. It doesn't have to be inside the story. It would be really cool, or they maybe should have added her for Shinonuma. The next map's probably not going to come for a while. Maybe Vanguard's going to get a year or two. It'd be really cool to start adding in maybe some Scarlett Rhodes stuff. Because I think that might be the thing. I don't think they'll do the whole cast for monetary reasons. I think they're going to do what COD Mobile maybe does, or they did with Cold War, where we had Max's. It was her story. We were following her. She didn't necessarily have a crew. Um, this would be a really good idea of having just Cutthroat Scarlett Rhodes. Um, Even if they want to do another voice actress, but people are probably gonna get annoyed. Toxic zombie YouTubers are gonna be toxic zombie YouTubers if it's not the same Scarlett Rhodes. Even though this one, in my opinion, is what they should have done from the beginning, and I said that before this even happened. I said it in 2018, before Cutthroat Scarlett Rhodes was even a thing. Is the design of the original crew from Black Ops 4. I think it was a little bit too, I want to say, passe or like outdated or just not cool or hip. I think even if they bring back the crew, I think it needs to be this design for the whole entire crew. People might think it's ridiculous or over the top, but this is a really amazing skin. Whoever designed it is just should get like every award they deserve. Um, Not to say this isn't like original. I just think it was probably not fit for Black Ops 4. I think maybe this would have been better for Black Ops 4, the Cutthroat. And then this Vanguard version should be in Vanguard, or should have been in Vanguard, to help this get off, to help the Chaos story get off the ground, so to speak. This would have been a lot cooler back then. Um, which is so, I know that's kind of like a contradicting explanation or hypocritical explanation. This is Asian, but we're in World War II, so both versions, I guess, would fit in Vanguard. But it's just an amazing skin, the Cutthroat Scarlett Rhodes, and I just, like I said, I don't work for Treyarch. I don't think I'll ever win. Well, I don't qualify for Treyarch or Call of Duty, but I wish I did sometimes, because this should have been in Shinanuma's release, or should be in the store, or should come to the store, since we're back in Japan and Asia and stuff like that. How amazing would it have been to have that added in? Somebody should have thought ahead. Let's add that in if it's not already thought about. Um, like I said, for it to not be the library Alexandria for the next map in Egypt, it's just going to be a really unfortunate, another missed opportunity. Like I said, this they can probably still do because Shinonuma is a huge hit. And that's even something that I said when Vanguard got released. I said, why is Shinonuma not the focal point of zombies? I remember my first gameplay of Darren Fang, I played for 2 hours and never hit Shinonuma. I'm like, that should not have happened. Like, I don't know how I'm not saying like I'm an expert or the best or whatever, but there's just some crucial stuff that gets missed. This should have been released for Shinonuma. And when Darren Fang got released, Shinonuma should always have been there and stuff like that. Now I'm hoping they don't miss another opportunity and use the Library Alexandria for the next map. Anyways, I don't want this to make it sound like I'm complaining, but at the same time, like I said, I'm crossing my fingers that we get a Library Alexandria for Egypt with a good story. Maybe even if they release this like before we get the Egypt map, the Cutthroat Scarlett Rhodes, if they're really bringing back Scarlett Rhodes, and then you can use her maybe in the new map or something like that, would be like a good idea. Again, it's just unfortunate some stuff that gets missed, and I like to see stuff happen without sticking my nose in too much. But again, this I hope they can somehow port it into Shinonuma eventually before the new map comes out. And on the other hand, if they're willing to kind of dip back in, to the Chaos story, the Library Alexandria should be the next Egypt map. Anyways, I'll leave it at that. I'll see you guys later.